It's a big one for Nick Caserio and the Houston Texans. One of the most impactful moves that they've made, and damn, it's only been a week of free agency. They addressed a position that needed to be addressed. You got to think that the need for a tight end is now very low on the pecking order heading into the draft. Texans signed Dalton Schultz, 1 year, $9 million contract. It is the locker room number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. This one's big. The tight end market has been interesting. Tight ends on the open market are struggling to get long-term deals. Dalton Schultz, according to reports, turned down, I believe it was a 3-year, $18 million contract with the Cowboys, or it was a 3-year deal worth $36 million, something like that. It was a 3-year contract. He now has to sign a 1-year deal with the Houston Texans for $9 million. It's in the same range that Evan Ingram signed with the Jags last year. It's in the same range of what Mike Gesicki could earn in New England. This is just what's happening with tight ends. A lot of times they have to sign these 1-year deals. They have to prove themselves. And Dalton Schultz is a quarterback's best friend. He's been one of Dak Prescott's most reliable receivers. He's been kind of a security blanket for Dak Prescott. And if you look at the last 3 years, Pelissaro put these stats out. Tom Pelissaro, who I believe also had the report first. In the last 3 years, Dalton Schultz, watch these stats, had 198 catches and 7 touchdowns in the last 3 seasons. Let's compare that to the Texans, who've had 207 catches total from their tight end. So Dalton Schultz himself has had 198 catches. The Texans tight end, every tight end on the Texans roster the last 3 seasons has had 207 catches and 20 touchdowns. Tight end now, I don't know if we're going to put it up there with the secondary yet, but if you look at what the Texans currently have at tight end, you have Andrew Beck, who you brought in to be kind of your blocker, fullback guy. Tegan Quitoriano, who looked really good in spot duty last year, looked like a pretty good receiver. He's also a blocking guy. I expect him to come in with a huge body transformation like a lot of second-year guys have, and he's going to be fully healthy. And now one of the top receiving tight ends in the league in Dalton Schultz on a 1-year deal with a rookie quarterback, we assume. And if you look at the way that Texans have handled things on the offensive side of the ball, you've improved. I guess you could say you've improved your receiving core top to bottom, although you did lose Brandon Cooks, although he wasn't good last year. So, yes, he's a good player. He wasn't good last year. You've improved the tight end position significantly with Schultz, Beck, who provides the versatility, and then Quitoriano, who you think his best ball is ahead of him. You've improved the offensive line with Shaq Mason at guard. Probably still need to improve the running back position, although there's talk that Devin Singletary's in town. I still think you need to add something there, as many backs as possible. And now you have what can be any quarterback's best friend, especially a rookie quarterback's best friend, and a receiving option at tight end, and you got a bunch of tight ends who can do a lot of things. This is a big one. If I had to rank this, this is probably one of the top 3 most impactful moves. Top 4 most impactful moves that Nick Caserio has made this offseason. And he's brought in 11 players. This is a big deal. You can almost look at it as, if you want, that the Texans, got the 5th and 6th round pick for Brandon Cooks, and they just swooped in with the extra money that they've cleared up and get Dalton Schultz. This is a good thing. This team is very quarterback friendly at the moment. Got one of the best left tackles in the game. Got Titus Howard coming off a good year. Improved O-line, and tight end position now, you could argue, is an area of strength. Ironically, they actually worked out Dalton Schultz 5 years ago to the day. Not to the day, to the month. They worked out Dalton Schultz in March of 2018. Ended up drafting Jordan Akins, who, by the way, is 5 years older. Drafted Akins 98th, and Schultz went 39 picks later, pick 137 to the Cowboys. So circle 5 years from now, Jordan Akins departs for the Cleveland Browns, and you get a better player in Dalton Schultz. So you right your wrong from a half decade ago. Subscribe, like. It is the Locker Room. Big move for Nick Caserio. He was on Sports Radio 610 earlier today. Fire up the Odyssey app. Check that out. Also called out the fake news on the Cooks thing, which I don't think matters because I think Nick's kind of missing the point and kind of screwed that situation up to begin with. But regardless, good move by Nick. It's getting exciting around here. The most exciting offseason keeps getting more exciting. No matter what happens, though, no matter what Schultz does, man, good day to be covering this squad. And no matter what happens, we are all in this together. Good job, Nick.